Pringle Evans, and I am so excited to be here. I say that every time we come together that I'm excited to be here, and it is the truth. I am, because I am on fire for women to experience financial freedom. I want that not just for some women, but for all women. And today is a very important topic that my guest and I will be discussing, and that is women and long-term care. My guest today is one of the best in the industry to address this, and that is Ms. Sandra Moody Gresham. But before I introduce my friend, Ms. Sandra Moody Gresham, I must thank Pringle Business Consulting for providing this platform and this time for us to be here together. You know, what we have learned at Pringle is that most women coaches, consultants, and service professionals, they really have a difficult time differentiating themselves in the marketplace. So what we have done is create a step-by-step system to help them to really identify, discover, and monetize what sets them apart from their competitors so that they can grow and scale their businesses 6 figures and above. That's who we are. That's what we do. So let's get to it. Let me share some information about my friend, Miss Sandra Moody Gresham, before you have an opportunity to hear from her. Here is some very important information about her. And I can boast and brag about her for hours, okay? But we got to keep it short. Sandra is a motivated and energetic insurance expert, professor, public speaker, and servant, hear me, servant leader who is passionate about serving a range of clients from families of modest means to multi-million-dollar organizations. Her life work has been to further the financial wealth and economic literacy of individuals, businesses, and organizations through risk management, strategies, financial education, the delivery of high caliber insurance and financial products, and cutting edge industry solutions. As the owner of Dehan Enterprises Insurance and Financial Services, LLC, the company's goal is to assist each client in the creation, accumulation, and protection of wealth. With more than 30 years as a professional insurance and financial services representative, she specializes in commercial insurance risk, group and employee benefits, individual medical plans, and surety and fidelity bonds. Now, I'm going to cut through a lot of it because like I said, I could go on and on. Sandra worked with small businesses and public organizations. Her strength is uncovering and diagnosing organizational risk exposures and developing strategies to mitigate risk and protect revenue. She's also a leader. Sandra has led peers, colleagues, and organizations to achieve their goals and objectives. As a female African-American independent insurance agency owner in an industry where approximately 3%, you heard me, 3% of all agency owners are African-American. Sandra is a trailblazer. So please help me to welcome the one, the only, Ms. Sandra Moody Gresham. Welcome, Sandra. I think we may be having some technical difficulty because I can see you, Sandra, but you are frozen. Sandra, can you hear me? While we are waiting on Sandra, I just want to highlight again, our topic today is women and long-term care. So Sandra, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's get as Marvin Gaye would say it, let's get it on. Okay, let's get it on.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Sandra, let me ask you, what is the probability or likelihood of women needing long-term care?
Well, Miss Linda, first, let me thank you for inviting me for this forum and this opportunity. And kudos to you, because this is such an important topic that's rarely talked about until a family is in crisis, right? So the probability is the fact that we're living longer, right? The Social Security says if you're fortunate to make it to age 65, there's a 50% chance that you will live to age 90, right? For a male, there's a 35% chance. So, and then I read some data that a 5-year-old today is expected to live till 103, right?
Wow.
So we have longevity on our side. Many people, however, underestimate how long they're going to live. So they're not preparing to spend 30 years in retirement, right? Sometimes we're retiring too soon. We're not starting saving and investing early enough, right, to prepare for these long-term lifestyles we'll have well into the future. And we want to maintain quality of life in those latter years. So it's about being intentional about our finances, but also intentional about our health. Yes. This is the same body you have that'll be here that you'll function with at 90. So you got to take care of it, you know, every day. But just the fact that we're likely to live longer is one of the highest probabilities. And then this long-term care issue is a woman's issue because we are often the caregiver for our spouses, for our parents. And then after we've cared for them, statistically, we outlive our male counterparts, then there's no one there to take care of us, right? That's so right. We often keep those males from going to facilities, assisted living, nursing home. We keep them at home, caring for them. But then when they pass away, there's nobody really there to care for us. So that's where the need for long-term care comes in. And another quick statistic I read was from the Alzheimer's Association. Almost 50% of Americans who are age 85 and older are suffering with some form of Alzheimer's or dementia. Almost 50% of those over 85. So the expectation is you're going to live into your 80s and 90s, become, you know, an octogenarian, and it's likely to happen, right? But then there's also a greater chance of you needing care as you age as well. So dual need, and the probability is just there. I think we all know individuals who are needing assistance, either from dementia or experiencing that as they age. But my dad used to say, if you don't die, you get old. When you get old, you need care.
That's right. That is so true. But Sandra, for those who may not understand exactly what is long-term care, would you share what is long-term care? Because it just crossed my mind. Everyone may not understand exactly what it is.
Sure. In its simplest form, it could be anything to preparing your meals to feeding you your meals, right? If you need assistance with any of the activities that you and I probably did today, fed ourselves, dressed, walking, toileting, transferring, which is getting in and out of a chair, in and out of a bed, any of those activities of daily living, or cognitive impairment, which is the dementia or Alzheimer's mentioned, as determined by a doctor. That triggers long-term care insurance. That triggers long-term care insurance. So you may need, there's different levels of care. There's custodial care, which maybe you can take care of yourself, but you don't want to cook anymore, or you don't want to clean your house anymore, do your yard work. That's custodial care. And then there is intermediate care, which is our rehabilitation. You go in to be rehabbed for a specified period of time, and then you're well again, is the goal. And then skilled care is that 24-hour round-the-clock care that most of us may never need, but that's where your medical insurance and Medicare will pay for skilled care.
Okay.
They don't pay, your health insurance doesn't pay for custodial care, right? And that's where this long-term care insurance kicks in. Often people confuse it with long-term disability insurance.
Yes.
Right? So disability replaces your income or your ability to work that allows you to pay the mortgage, utilities, continue your household going forward. But long-term care insurance pays for an in-home care provider, someone to come into your home to care for you, assisted living, nursing home, etc. So there are times when both coverages can respond, right? You may be disabled and need long-term care. So there are occasions where both can be relevant and applicable. But you see long-term care generally as we age. But there are, I think I've read the data is about 40% of those receiving long-term care are under age 65. And, you know, there's some celebrities like Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
Or if we think of Christopher Reeves, who had a tragic accident. So, Luther Vandross, well under 65, but they had health conditions that required them to have care. So it doesn't just, you don't want to just think about it for elders. This can happen to anybody at any time.
You know, Sandra, you're so right and spot on, because my baby brother was diagnosed with dementia when he was 52. And for 3 years, we were able to keep him, 5 years. 5 years, we were able to keep him home with us. I think it was 5. It was 3 to 5. I'm getting it confused right now. But his last 2 years of life was spent in a nursing home. And, you know, you just never know. And that was young. He was young being diagnosed at 52 with dementia. So you just never know what's coming. And the fact that my daughter, and you probably can remember this, at 39 had a stroke because of birth control. So you can't say, well, I'm young, I'm healthy. This isn't something that I need to be concerned about right now. You never know.
Exactly.
None of us know what the future is going to present to us, but there is always, when obstacles or challenges embark upon our lives and we have a plan, it makes it so much easier to deal with it. So I just feel, from my own life experiences and family and others that I know, this is something, especially women, because we are living longer, to really consider long-term care while you are younger, because I would imagine getting it younger is a lot less expensive than getting it when you're older. So do you mind sharing information about that, Sand?
Yes, that's correct. So you can't buy it when you need it, right? We get calls when a family's in crisis and a loved one needs to go into a facility. It's just like, you can't buy homeowners when your house is on fire, right? So you have to be strategic and planning to acquire these products. In terms of younger, yes, like life insurance, like medical, the cost is cheaper when you're younger, but your health is also tends to be better when you're younger. So health status plays a role in underwriting to even get the policies for eligibility, right? So about a third of applicants are denied because of health reasons as they age. We suggest oftentimes employers now some of the large employers are offering group long-term care insurance. It's less or limited underwriting, so there's a much greater chance for you acquiring a policy, and the price is cheaper because it's group rated. And then they're portable. So when you leave that company, you own the contract and you could take it with you. So it's certainly, you want to begin to explore coverages as younger, the better. But what's happening, how the industry has changed, because we don't know how long we're going to live. We don't know if we will need this ever. They are providing riders or enhancements that you can add long-term care coverage to a life insurance policy. So where that, let's say you have a $1 million policy, not only can it provide you benefit for your family if you passed away, but if you needed long-term care assistance, that $1 million, a portion can be drawn down to pay for your cost of care. So they're using now one policy that would address long-term care needs or death if that were to occur, right? So that's becoming much more attractive because one of those are going to happen. You're going to die or you're going to get sick, right?
Absolutely.
So you're not paying for a product that you may live to 100 and die in your sleep and never need any care, right?
Right.
So that's one of the more contemporary ways, more cost-effective ways that we're seeing individuals pick up policies today.
Wow, I didn't realize about you can do it even with if you're employed and your employer is able to provide it for you as well. And you can, and because it's a contract, it goes with you if you should leave the company.
Yes.
That's one, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think because society is seeing there's such a great and growing need, and Americans, we're comfortable getting benefits through our workplace, right? We like payroll deduction. We like the fact the employer has vetted the company and, you know, they've done that work for you. So, doing it with the group rating, you're less likely to be declined coverage because of health, because there's a lot more liberties made available in that group product space. So it's certainly something worth inquiring about. But then in general, just understanding what your benefits are at work. Too often we won't go to the benefits meeting, which are coming up at the end of the year. We don't want to sit and spend 10 minutes with the rep to understand what our benefits are. You want to understand what the disability benefit is. Is long-term care offered? And then when's the last time you updated your beneficiaries? Right? If you've been in that workplace 15 years and now you're on your second spouse, maybe you want to check your beneficiaries, right? So that's an important time to learn about what you have available and make changes and updates.
You know, I never thought about being denied long-term care. That honestly, that never crossed my mind. But it's just like any other type of insurance.
Yes.
Absolutely. So there is, and I would say, an urgency to do it, especially when you're younger. But definitely, it is something everyone needs to have because there's no way we can predict the future. So, Sandra.
Let me interject, Linda. I want to also, I think the primary audience is for single women, right? Because you think about who's going to provide care for you if you became ill or needed care.
Yes.
Right. That audience is becoming one of the greatest, who have the greatest risk. Right. And their need to do estate planning is really elevated. Because you got to make decisions around who. There may not be a spouse, there may not be adult children. Who are you going to choose to assist in managing your affairs? And then how do I make it easy? If it is, I want to go into, they have these campuses where you can age in place, independent living, then move to assisted living, and then nursing home care if you're health warranted. How do you prepare for that? How do you pay for that? Right? And
Yes.
it's long-term care can assist in paying, but your pension, your Social Security, all your resources kind of contribute to cover that cost.
Yes. So I'm going to repeat what many have heard me say, and that is aging ain't cheap. Excuse my grammar.
Agreed.
It's not. And that's what we want to get across, especially to women, because this is a show for women. It's for us because we need to be aware of what we need to have in place to protect ourselves, especially when it comes to our health and money. Those are two critical components for living and aging. So what strategies and solutions, Sandra, would you like to share with women regarding long-term care?
Sure. Well, I think one of the most important things, and I applaud you, those who are watching here, is become knowledgeable, right? There's a lot of educational workshops. There's, I mentioned employers often are having lunch and learns. There are resources that are free that can just get you more informed. I think that's what we have to do. It's been said we spend more time planning our vacations than our financial lives. Okay, so take the free class and learn some information, and then discuss it with your family. Have that discussion. If I become ill, who would really step up, or would I want care at home or go to a facility? Just kind of asking and raising the topic. Families don't often like to talk about if someone gets sick or if someone dies, but this is important information to have a sense of before it may occur, because some of these things are inevitable. It's just likely to happen. But have that conversation, and certainly if you have a mate, understand their benefits and understand what their desires are as well, because as mentioned, as the woman, you may be the one responsible for managing his or her care, managing his finances as well. The other piece I would say is look at your estate planning, not only due to death, but if someone becomes ill and incapacitated and cannot make decisions on their own, right? You should have a healthcare power of attorney. You should have a durable power of attorney, documents that automatically are triggered if someone becomes ill or can't make decisions on their own. You don't want to be chasing around trying to get an attorney and get that stuff done when somebody is ill, right? So again, single women, critically important, because who's going to do those things? And again, you want them in place. It's not at last minute urgency. And explore getting quotes now. Often people say it's too expensive, or I don't know if I'm eligible. They've never attempted it. They've never talked to a professional to really know. So I encourage people to reach out to get a proposal or review what we can assist you in reviewing what you have and seeing if something happened to you, would you have the means or resources? How would you address them? So, I mean, those would be the key things we would share that could direct people in moving in the right direction around this.
Sandra, this has been so enlightening. It truly is. And this is something that especially women, and you mentioned single women particularly, it is so important for you, ladies, to have your house in order. I remember hearing my grandparents use that phrase, get your house in order. And I heard it when I was a child, so I'm thinking, well, the house looked like it's in order to me, but I'm thinking about the physical house. Right. But it's your affairs, putting them in order. And it's never too soon to begin doing it. The sooner, the better, not waiting until there is a crisis that you're facing, and then you're scratching your head trying to figure out how to get it done right. So Sandra, I know you can help these ladies. I know you can. That's why I asked you to come on the show. Tell them what you have to offer them, your call to action, letting them know how they can get in touch with you if they want to learn more.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Please.
Sure. Well, you certainly can just call our office, schedule a time with me, and I would sit down with you personally to review your plans, provide quotes for you to review. We can be reached at our website, which is Dehan, D like David, EHAN, insurance.com, or my email, our office email is info, INFO, at Dehan, D like David, EHAN, insurance.com. So just would love to talk to anyone that had questions or you felt this information could be useful to your family. More than happy to have that conversation with folks.
Now, for those who aren't in Columbus, Ohio, where they can come and sit down and have this conversation with you, for those who may need your service, and they're somewhere else in the US, how would they be able to connect with you to have a discovery session?
Sure, just the same way, reach out with that telephone number or email address. We certainly do virtual meetings similar to this. And so depending on what state you live, we're licensed in many states around the country. And if we're not, we'll certainly guide you on how you can get the assistance in your community. But yes, that certainly reaching out by telephone, website, that gets the ball rolling.
All right, ladies, you've heard it. Now it's time. It's time to take action. It is time for us to not procrastinate. We do not procrastinate on the things that we want, right? We don't. We get it done. Mm-hmm. So just become more intentional about your life as you are, I hate to say it, but as you are aging, it will happen unless you die. But we want you here for a long period of time. Yeah. But we want you to live a good life and to have your affairs in order. So again, I want to thank my guest, Miss Sandra Moody Gresham, for coming on and just pouring out and giving so many good nuggets for us to really think about, ladies. And as always, I want to end by saying this to you, ladies, and that is create your power. That's it. Create your power, because you only have one life to live, and make it the best that you can. Until next time, to your success.